Welcome to the 82nd episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies Podcast.
So damn paranormal.
My name is Jason Knight, host of the show. Joining me this evening is producer extraordinaire, Mr. Oscar Spector.
I'm first today.
You are.
Hello.
I like to switch it up. Also joining me this evening is Supernatural Occurrence Studies co-founder and clairsensitive, Mr. Joe Erie.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Okay.
I mean, since last time, I think I've done nothing at all.
I haven't done too much either.
No?
You know,
No?
I gotta...
Actually, we have 6 minutes.
Right.
So I could explain something really quick.
Wow.
We received a Facebook comment, or a YouTube comment.
Uh-huh.
Been drinking.
You happen.
Received. Why are people so mean on YouTube, specifically YouTube?
What do you mean?
People are really mean on YouTube.
Dude, that's
it was
the way
one of our
I don't know why.
videos.
The way it works.
Of course, Supernatural Occurrence Studies on YouTube.
We will capture them and drink their blood.
Coming
gotta
off the
scare 'em first,
adrenochrome episode, right? Twisted ass episode.
Twisted
But
ass, yes.
it was one of the videos. I don't even remember what video it was, and it just this really mean way. He's like, "Yeah, just like every other podcast, they spend 20 minutes talking about bullshit and blah blah blah. I'm going to listen to something else." So I started thinking, maybe we do we do too long of intros?
No. Who gives a shit what they think? We can't please everybody.
We can't please everybody.
And we can't please people who
to,
go on the internet for specific hateful reasons.
Yeah, it's just really mean.
You know
And
what
it got me
We should
thinking.
just do a whole episode of an intro. Okay, just for him. Or her, I don't know.
It was a him. It was a him.
Well, how do you know for sure, right?
Well, yeah, true.
That's
true.
true.
But it just seems in YouTube, people are very mean.
They're
They're very mean.
Yeah, it's called they. Active pronouns, guys.
So yeah, we're coming off the adrenochrome episode.
Yeah.
that was a really dark, nasty episode.
It was, man.
Joe still has not received a vial of adrenochrome to try. We're waiting.
No?
Contact
Not yet?
Not from a
Chicagospodcast.com.
listener.
Do we have a P.O. box?
We don't have it, but we'll have to figure that out. They have
Okay.
to contact us. We'll figure it out.
Kids, P.O. box, ask your parents. Just ask your parents.
Yeah. Yeah, do they still have P.O. boxes?
They
So, no,
definitely
what have you
do.
guys been up
Yes.
to? We'll keep it short and sweet.
Well, I had my hopes up that somebody would send a vial of adrenochrome, but
Yeah, you said you
got a
would
chance
do
to
it
try
on
it.
the show to see what it did. Listeners, if you haven't heard the adrenochrome episode, that's probably a good thing. Great episode.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing.
Good episode. I love that episode. Came out great. But
I hella dig it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So go back and check out the adrenochrome episode. Anything interesting happen over the last 2 weeks, guys?
just been dreaming a lot. You know,
Of a white Christmas?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
White means like snow, like blow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That was very Tony Montana
actually,
of you.
It snowed about, I think, at least 8 inches by us.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it really? Was I?
Yeah. But
there?
I don't know, just seeing a lot of spirits and dreaming a lot. A lot of things coming to me in my dreams.
Oscar mentioned White Christmas. Sorry, I just
Oscar's a racist.
I pulled a hard right on that one.
Yeah.
This is going to release on Christmas Eve.
This episode, really?
This episode comes out on Christmas Eve. It is Christmas Eve when you're listening to this right now.
Oh, shit.
Happy Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Buon Natale.
Crazy Kwanzaa.
Crazy
I don't
Kwanzaa.
even know what to say.
You've no idea.
So Merry Christmas, listeners.
Yeah.
We love you.
Happy
Thank you.
Festivus?
Festivus for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Wow.
We love you, listeners. Thank you for the years of support you've given us thus far.
At least the weeks.
No, we've been doing it's almost 3 years now. I think it's like right around 3 years.
Yeah, but sometimes the weeks of
Right?
support
Is
also.
it longer?
2.5 years? No, I think it's about 3 years. So we've got great listeners, some rabid, loyal listeners. We love you. We appreciate
We have rabbits?
it. Rabid.
Oh.
They're
They-
kind of like rabid
Oh.
weasels.
They listen
I see.
voraciously.
I see now. I see what you're saying.
I don't know any more adjectives, but yeah, I just realized it's going to be Christmas Eve. So unlike last Christmas, where we released a really nasty episode on the Ripper Crew, this is going to be a lot lighter, this topic. It's fun.
Did you
Unless
say the
you're
Ripper
listening
Crew?
to the Vandals.
Oh, was that last Christmas?
Grandpa's Last Christmas.
I love that song. Whoa, we should have opened up with that
Was
song.
last Christmas episode of the Ripper Crew?
Yes.
Oh my God.
We released that right before
That's
Christmas.
That's dark. Why
right?
did we do that?
And that was a good episode.
Yeah,
A
that was
really good episode.
That was a fun one. That was a fun one.
Listeners, go back and listen to the Ripper Crew episode. Chicago serial
Yeah.
killers.
Like right now.
Yeah. Pause this.
Right.
iTunes will keep your place.
Right.
Spotify will keep your place. Go listen to Ripper Crew
Exactly.
and hear us from a year ago. And Joe wasn't on that one, but Dave was. And today, Dave's not here, but Joe is. Look at that. And I forgot to mention in the Adrenochrome episode that Dave is in Florida doing his hunter-gatherer thing, making his money. And so he's not going to be here this week either.
No, he was at the Winterfest.
Winterfest?
Yeah, the body painting and all that. I don't want to get into it too deeply.
I would pay an obscene amount of money to see Dave painted, nude and painted.
No, I would.
Is that wrong?
What's obscene? What's your number?
Like $5.
$5? Okay, good.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Joe, how much?
Well, I mean, I
would have him pay me.
think that he would have to pay us.
Yes, that's what I just said. That's exactly right.
It's great when he's not here because we can talk shit about him and he can't defend himself.
But we talk shit about him in front of his face,
We
too.
do.
So, like...
We love you, Dave. Merry
Hanukkah.
No,
Happy Hanukkah, dude. Yeah, good for you. Good. Although he'd get mad if we said that. So happy holidays, Dave.
What if we said Merry Hanukkah?
No, he's not Jewish, though.
No, how about that? Merry Christmas, my Jewish friend.
Merry Christmas, but he's not Jewish. He doesn't practice. Oh, yeah. You can't count on him for nothing. So
You're already bummed out by Dave. He's not even here.
Happy day, Dave.
You're already sick of the guy. He's like states away.
Make me mad.
Yeah.
So let's run down. Unless you guys have anything else to say.
Yeah.
You're not forced to say
Why are we
anything.
saying happy
No
anything
one
to
is
him, man?
pressured
He's in
you
Florida
to
right
say
now.
anything.
This is we're freezing our balls
Yeah.
off. He's in Florida having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm going to Florida on the 28th. We leave because I don't like to fly, so I'm taking my family. We're going to St. Augustine, Savannah, Georgia, and Orlando. And we're going to have a great time. St. Augustine is great. We did an episode about St. Augustine where I talked about St. Augustine extensively on one of the old episodes.
Yeah.
Oldest city in America.
Talia got the photo.
Talia got the photo, right, at the old St. Augustine jail. Exactly. That's on the website, chicagoghostpodcast.com. So, yeah, we're going to go on some ghost tours of St. Augustine and Savannah. We're going to probably go check out Epcot, see the beach a little bit. Although it's going to be a little cooler up there. It's going to be great.
I would
A
assume
lot
so.
warmer than here.
A lot warmer than... Yeah, this is true. So we're going to spend our New Year's out there.
I like the cold.
I'm flying my mom and my cousin out there, so it's going to be great. All right. So, housekeeping. Contact us. Social media, guys. We love interaction.
I mean.
We love interaction. Instagram and Twitter at Chicago Ghosts.
And Snapchat over on...
I don't have Snapchat.
I'm kidding.
I never got into the Snapchat. Our YouTube channel is Supernatural Occurrence Studies.
You could tweet us at.
Check us out on YouTube. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe. And please go ahead and smash that bell to be notified every time we upload new content. Support the show. If you love what we do and you want us to do more, or maybe you want to send us on another crazy podcast trip in hopes that we get hurt, killed, or maimed while we do it, join our Patreon. Support the show. Receive some cool shit. Patreon.com/Supernatural Occurrence Studies Podcast. Email is contact@ChicagoGhostPodcast.com. Of course, our website is ChicagoGhostPodcast.com.
So damn paranormal.
And call or text anytime, Chicago area code 872-529-0767, 872-529-0767, and leave us a voicemail, text message about anything you want. If it's good, we'll play it on the show.
Yep.
We did receive another Facebook comment, a great comment, member at Chicago Ghost Podcast on Facebook, from Jonathan, I hope I'm saying your last name right, Echevarria, Oscar, Echevarria. Go.
I don't... The fuck?
Isn't that Hispanic?
No.
Echevarria.
Isn't that Hispanic?
Well, Echevarria, isn't that?
Echevarria.
Yeah. How do you say that, Oscar?
Well, I mean, if it's in Spanish, it'll be Echevarria.
Oh, that's hot. That was sexy.
They don't say CH like K.
I was going to say, I don't even speak Mexican.
Jonathan
Echevarria.
recommends us on Facebook, and he says, quote, I just found out about these guys while researching Missing 411 and David Paulides. They do a great episode on the disappearances, and I highly recommend them. I'm still waiting for them to do another episode featuring Camilio and Robert Guffey. I honestly think that topic is connected to the missing 411. Glad to see that both of these hosts are well researched in the areas of the supernatural and high strangeness. I'm having a lot of fun listening to their research. My favorite part of their episode is the theories and speculation that one of the hosts came up with. I like his concepts as to why people go missing, end quote. I've communicated with this gentleman on Facebook? No, Instagram? Facebook or Instagram. And it was your theory, Oscar, that he's referring to about the enchanted land.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So good job on that one, dude. Guys, as I said, call 872-529-0767 and leave us a message. This next sample could be you.
Hey, this is Gabriel Zero. I just discovered your podcast last week. You guys did an episode on missing 411, and I was really impressed by it. I listened to both episodes, Side A and Side B. I want to say that it's one of the more interesting and well-researched missing 411 episodes that I've heard on iTunes. I gave it 2 thumbs up. And I just had a little tiny bit of a request for you guys. You guys mentioned something really interesting that your friend had talked about offerings in his backyard. I think it was on the Side B episode, but it was really cool because I've never heard anyone who had a personal account to a friend. So that was really interesting, and I would totally be interested if you guys went into that more. Maybe you could bring your friend, because I think you did mention that, have him be a guest on your future episode. And maybe you guys can go into Camilio and Robert Guffey's work. You name dropped that book a few times in that episode, and you said that it would be a separate rabbit hole that you want to go down in the future. And I actually am friends with that author, Robert Guffey, on Facebook, and I know he's like super interested in being a guest and talking about it in detail. I actually got him on the Where Did the Road Go podcast. He was a guest on there, and that ended up being a 2-part episode, and I kind of introduced that podcast host to him and through Facebook, and they contacted each other, which was really cool to be a small part of that. And it would be neat to see him appear on your show as well. He hasn't done any recent podcast interviews, but I reached out to him and asked if he would be interested, and he said yeah. So definitely keeping my fingers crossed that you might cover Camilio and Robert Guffey in the future, as well as get your friend, and maybe it can be sort of like a sequel to the missing 411 stuff that you did. Great job. I love you guys. I love the theories that you both came up with. Really interesting stuff, especially the ground being sacred and the theories about the creature being able to predict where people go and how far they get away from their parents. That was really creepy stuff, and you guys have a good imagination when it comes to this stuff, and definitely good theories and speculation all around. I guess this message has gone on too long, so thanks again. And yeah, feel free to edit this if this is too long for your show. Take care and keep up the good work. Bye.
Thanks, Gabriel Zero. We really appreciate the comments, and we hope to keep you as a listener and keep you entertained. And yes, absolutely, man, we want to talk about Project Camilio with Robert Guffey. That's something we're definitely going to do on an upcoming show. What do you guys think? Take a break?
Yeah.
Get some commercials in there?
Is that Jan?
Yeah.
All right, here a couple words from our sponsors. We'll be back in a moment.
Today's episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast is brought to you by LootCrate.com. Loot Crate, totally rad swag from your favorite movie, television, and video game franchises delivered conveniently to your front door. That's Marvel, Far Cry, Rick and Morty, Batman, WWE, Harry Potter, anime, Minecraft, Stranger Things, and a whole lot more, guys. Visit trylootcrate.com/SOS-radio and enter promo code BRIDGE10 to receive 10% off any new subscription. That's trylootcrate.com/SOS-radio and enter promo code BRIDGE10 for 10% off any new subscription to Loot Crate. Your order must be placed, however, before 9 p.m. Pacific Time on or before the 19th of the month to secure your special listener offer. That's trylootcrate.com/SOS-radio and enter promo code, what's that, guys? BRIDGE10.
Welcome back. Listeners, please check out our sponsors and help support the podcast. If you love what we do, make sure and support. All right? Now, Oscar, why do you have nipple clamps in your bag?
Why wouldn't I? You know what? My bag is a go bag. It's ready to go whenever I'm ready to go.
And you take it with you.
I take it with
so
you.
You could be ready to go
I have a
from wherever
flashlight in
you're
there. I have like an extra set of keys for the house in case I lose
That's
it.
normal, yeah.
Nipple clamps right next to that.
That's different.
Is it that different?
It's
though?
fun, but different.
It's
You
definitely
can use
fun.
nipple clamps for a lot of things. They're not
A lot
just
of
for
things.
nipples.
Well,
Right. They
I
also
guess
hold
if you
wires
had
together.
Wire clamps.
Wire clamps.
Roach clips if you smoke pot.
Oh.
See? Thank you.
Two joints. At
Of
once.
course, the drug addict
Smoke
says that
two
to me.
joints in the morning.
What?
I smoke 2 joints at night.
And then after I smoke 2 joints, I smoke 2 nipples, and then I suck.
Oh,
Wow.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Oscar,
Holy-
beep
What-
that out, please.
I can't.
You can milk anything with nipples.
How can
All
I?
right. Okay. All right, you maniacs. You guys ready?
We're ready.
Well, the lights are turned down
We're
low.
recording now.
Yes, yeah, we're recording.
Yes.
The lights are turned down low. The ceremonial candle is lit.
Hmm.
And the drinks are flowing. Let's get into this episode. So as I promised, for Christmas, this is going to be kind of a lighter episode. It's not going to be adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm calling this one The Mysteries of the 33rd Parallel. And this is a thing. This is crazy.
I do like this one.
This is so fun. All right.
My perusal on this, I did like it so far.
Cool.
So I can't wait to see it.
Joe, you're digging this?
Man, dude, it's like a never-ending wormhole.
I had to literally stop research. I had to force myself to stop researching because every time I did I'm just going to go and check the notes. Are the notes, because I'm really anal when it comes to the podcast. I'd go and I can add this. Oh,
Settle down.
I did that. Or Randy Tucker from Somewhere Out There Radio told me about something. I'm like, so I researched. I'm like, oh, got to add that, and on and on and on. And I could have done 3 episodes on this.
Yep.
I really think this is a thing. Why it's a thing, don't know. Okay?
Okay.
So, the mysteries of the 33rd parallel. Before we get into the actual meat of the episode, let's talk about lines of latitude and longitude. Let's get an understanding of what a parallel
Now, this is a
parallel
worldwide scope of it, right? Because
Yes.
there are different types.
We're taking jaunts,
Right.
jaunts all over the globe.
Right.
You think
Gotcha.
about like a grid system
Yeah.
Got it.
of the Earth.
You're right. Exactly. So lines of latitude and longitude make up a grid system, Joe, just like you said, that was developed to help map points on the Earth. Everything north of the equator is known as the northern hemisphere, and everything south of the equator is known as the southern hemisphere.
Okay.
Now, lines of latitude, also known as parallels, they run east and west around the Earth and are used to measure distances north and south of the equatorial circle, or the equator. In total, there are 180 degrees of parallels. As the name suggests, parallels never come together or cross one another anywhere on the Earth.
Right. Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the first parallel, the parallel that is the reference point for all of the other parallels, is the equator. And it sits at 0 degrees latitude, which makes it the longest parallel. Since parallels get shorter the farther away you move from the equator, the shortest parallels are at the north and south pole, both measuring 90 degrees, or 90 degrees north at the North Pole, 90 degrees south at the South Pole.
Pole. Yeah.
All parallels are perpendicular to all longitudes, meaning a 90-degree angle is formed wherever a parallel crosses a longitude.
Okay.
Now, on the other hand, lines of longitude, also called meridians, run the Earth north-south from pole to pole. They're like vertical half circles and are always the same length, 180 degrees, or half the circumference of the Earth. One example I read, I think, kind of gives you a good mental picture of how these things run. Mm-hmm. Imagine cutting a hula hoop in half and placing them vertically from pole to pole on one side of the Earth. These are your meridian lines. Take the other halves of the hula hoops, or the anti-meridian lines, and place them vertically pole to pole on the other side of the Earth, which would make a complete circle and make your hula hoop whole again. Could you guys kind of picture that?
Yeah, but the only thing is, the Earth's flat, so...
That's another episode.
That's definitely... yeah.
Yes,
no.
Another episode.
And what if
so they all converge.
There's a hole between two poles?
And it's a hollow Earth at that. So they converge. These meridian lines converge at the poles, at the North Pole and the South Pole. They all start there. Now, together, meridian lines and anti-meridian lines divide the Earth into the Eastern Hemisphere and the Western Hemisphere. Mm-hmm. There are 360 lines of longitude dividing the Earth, and they're the widest at the equator, and like I said, they converge, they meet at each pole. The 0 degree point for meridians, where they begin, is what's called the prime meridian, at an imaginary line that runs through the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, England, home of Greenwich Median Time.
I think it's Greenwich.
Greenwich. Greenwich Village is in New York. Greenwich is in England.
Do they pronounce it Greenwich?
I think so.
I think they pronounce it Greenwich.
Is it a good witch or a bad witch?
Because Greenwich in New York is made from the England. It's like an English name.
Well, it's spelled Greenwich.
I'm just saying. Like Worcester is Worcester, right?
Tomato, tomato.
Okay. Anyway.
Potato, potato. So England, home of Greenwich or Greenwich Median Time or GMT, which is actually 6 hours ahead of us here in Chicago. There are 180 degrees of longitude east of the prime meridian and 180 degrees of longitude west of the prime meridian. To get even more precise on a map than just longitude and latitude, each degree of longitude and latitude is divided into 60 minutes, and each minute is divided into 60 seconds. So, for example, here in Chicago, the Willis Tower, the old Sears Tower, is located at 41 degrees, 52 minutes, 44 seconds north latitude, and 87 degrees, 38 minutes, 0.92 seconds west longitude. Mm-hmm. So we get a more precise, exact location on a map. Mm-hmm. You guys with me?
Mm-hmm. Barely.
All right. Some other fun facts I uncovered during my research. I thought this stuff was cool. The distance around the Earth at the equator, its circumference, in other words, is 24,901 miles, or 40,074.26 kilometers. The diameter of the Earth through the poles, so from top to bottom, is 24,860 miles, or 40,008.29 kilometers. And this was cool. The Earth weighs approximately 598 sextillion metric tons. That's 589 with 21 zeros after it.
21 zeros.
21 zeros.
Yeah. And
the speed of Earth spinning on its axis at the equator is about 1,250 miles per hour, or 2,011.7 kilometers per hour, or just twice the speed of sound.
I'm surprised.
That's how fast we're spinning out there.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're not being flown away,
flung off the Earth, or flung into the fucking wall of this room.
It's kind of like one of those water things. You never seen those water globes, or those toys with the water in between the layers of the thing inside. When you spin it very fast, the thing doesn't spin at all inside. That's where we are. We're the inside part.
Good visual.
Yes,
good visual. Yeah, so I just thought those were little interesting stats.
It's just crazy, like how just specific and just detailed that we could be with stuff. You know, I mean,
you mean on the show or
humanity?
That too. I'm just talking about just like location and like measurements and knowing where everything is.
Yeah,
they're finding like old maps too before like old sailors of like stuff that they never knew about, but then it's like even like the outlines better than we almost had it. You know, like now, like it's weird. It's almost like they're getting this knowledge from someone else, man. You know.
Oh, well, that might play into this. Where's that knowledge coming from? Good, perfect setup. Now, the 33rd parallel, or the Earth's bloodline, the dragon energy line, the cursed line, the line of mysticism, the most powerful ley line. It goes by a lot of names. The 33rd parallel is the 33 degrees line of latitude that runs north of the equator across Africa, Asia, the Pacific Ocean, North America, and the Atlantic Ocean. And a ton of history-changing events, murder, death, mayhem, religious events, extraterrestrial events, Joe, the building of significant structures, all happen on the 33rd parallel, more than any other parallel in the world.
In history, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's what makes this so remarkable, so crazy. So before we get into the meat of the episode and actually take a tour of the 33rd parallel, let's first talk about the significance of the number 33. So for starters, there are 33 vertebrae in the human spine. Yep. That's 7 vertebrae in the cervical region, 12 in the thoracic region, 5 in the lumbar region.
And then some in the Jurassic.
5 in the sacral region, and the 4 in the coccygeal region.
Gesundheit.
Yeah. There are 33 joints in the human foot. Okay, cool. There are 33 turns in a complete sequence of human DNA. The 33rd element on the periodic table is arsenic. Arsenic can be used to preserve wood and as a doping agent in semiconductors, among many other things. But arsenic is also deadly to humans, causing various forms of cancer and death. Mm-hmm. And when anyone says arsenic, what's the first thing you think of?
I think of Alfred Hitchcock movies.
Yeah, poisoning to death by arsenic, right?
Yeah.
Isn't arson or arsenics are in apple seeds, or is that
there is? Yes, you're right.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was a different, but
no, I think it's arsenic. Yeah, because my in-laws said we can't. You don't give the kids apple juice because of arsenic. We're like, come on, stop, just cut it out. But you're right. You're right. If you put the 2 3s in 33 together, like take the open sides and put them together, almost forming an 8. Could you guys picture that? Mm-hmm. The symbol created represents the ancient Hermetic saying, as above, so below, meaning the heavens reflect the earth, the spirit reflects humankind. In the Bible, King David ruled in Jerusalem for 33 years. In the Bible, Jacob had 33 sons and daughters.
And he got around.
Oh yeah, in the Bible, people fucked.
People really fucked.
They had lots of kids.
To get to the people today, huh?
Jesus is said to have performed 33 miracles before he was crucified at the age of 33 in the year 33 AD.
Dude, he was also...
Well, the reason it's 33 AD, let's face it, is because of...
another thing is he predicted his death on the 33rd parallel.
Yes.
I'll keep my lips sealed.
Hey, Thor, keep taking that thunder.
Good job keeping it sealed there.
Thor.
No, I do that. My brain went crazy.
No, I know. I love it. No, you're absolutely right, dude. You're absolutely right. And we'll get into that. Now, in the Vatican, St. Peter's Basilica has 33 chapels. The Anglican Rosary has 33 beads, and the Greek Orthodox prayer rope, 33 knots. 33 is the numerical representation of the Star of David. In very old Jewish tradition, recounted by 1st century AD historian Josephus, it is said that Adam and Eve had 33 sons and also 23 daughters.
That's impossible.
Right? That's a lot of...
Dude, there was this dude from the west side.
They had to start at age 5 and stop at age 60.
They found him dead, and this is just on the news. And he had 48 kids.
Oh my
I don't know if you guys heard about
no.
that.
Wait, who? What?
They called him the ladies' man or something like that.
It
happens,
Never pulled out once, huh?
Wow.
He probably did. He probably pulled out a lot of times. He's having a lot of sex.
Now, the word Elohim, a Hebrew name for God, appears 33 times in the story of creation in the opening chapters of Genesis. In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 33, verse 3, there's a quote that says, "Call to me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know." Seems like a perfect quote to describe the mysteries of the 33rd parallel we'll be discussing tonight.
What about Scottie Pippen's?
His jersey. Well, it was, wasn't it?
It was 33.
Yeah, it was 33. You're right. Chicago Bulls.
And
What?
Pippin Zippin had 33 grams of sugar in it.
Oh.
Now, in Shakespeare, according to Shakespeare, Julius Caesar stabbed 33 times. That's what Shakespeare wrote. Although in history he wasn't. Historically, he was stabbed 23. The United
Michael Jordan. Oh my God.
Wow.
We have to do a show on the Bulls now.
So stupid.
part of the 33rd.
This is like the number 23 all over again. You guys are being Jim Carrey.
Conspiracy, man.
You guys are being
The
Jim
list
Carrey.
goes on. The United Nations flag is a world globe broken into 33 sections. The highest level one could reach in the Scottish Rite Freemason is level 33 or 33rd degree.
What about that other one, the Scientology one?
Oh, we're going to do a whole episode on Scientology.
We better.
And the 33 with the Knights, the Freemasons, what it means. Are you getting into that or no?
What do you mean?
About the perfect balance?
No, tell it.
Okay, so for 33, like 3 and 3, it basically it means the balance, like good and evil, and once we know how and once they actually once you understand how to balance the right side and left side of your brain for like book smart, street smart, you combine that you hit
Enlightenment or something?
No, exactly, like an enlightenment to that other like realm, and then you have like all the all-seeing eye and all the power.
Oh, shit.
Because rather than just using your left brain, like knowing how to use your left and your right, you have that enlightenment to see the all-seeing eye, and you're enlightened.
Well, Masons,
empowered.
that plays a big part of this.
Oh yeah,
It does. Continue on Masons.
But that was their whole thing with the 33, because like the balance 3 and 3, and it was weird because I didn't when we were saying with the 8, how it's like kind of flipped, but
Yeah.
the 3 and the 3, the right side and the left side, you put it together, and that's both. You combine it with that all-seeing eye, where you're enlightened to see, and you're empowered, enlightened.
Wow. And the Masons are there. They got
You think like spiritually too, like with
seeped in symbology and it's
Symbolism.
crazy. Symbolism, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Masons, the headquarter building of the Supreme Council, 33rd degree, Scottish Rite, Freemasonry, Southern Jurisdiction in Washington, D.C. The headquarter building of the Supreme Council, 33rd degree, Scottish Rite, Freemasonry, Southern Jurisdiction in Washington, D.C. The building
Rolls off the tongue.
is laden with 33. The Pillars of Charity room inside this building has stained glass windows with 33 rays of sunlight. The Temple room inside this building has stained glass with 33 panels, lightening in color as you ascend to symbolize the more knowledge you attain, the more enlightened you are, and the further away from chaos you are. There are 4 chandeliers in the atrium, each with 33 light bulbs. The executive chamber, again inside this building, has 33 seats, and on the outside of the building, there are 33 columns measuring 33 feet high. And, of course, the address of this building is 1733 16th Street Northwest in Washington, D.C. So lots of 33s in this place.
Yeah.
In numerology, the number 33 represents the ultimate attainment of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's playing exactly what you're saying. In spiritual numerology, 33 is the highest master number. And I believe 11 and 22 are the others. Good so far?
Yes.
All right. So let's start our tour of the 33rd parallel, way over in the country of Iraq. Now, Baghdad is located on the 33rd parallel, 33 degrees, 33 minutes north. Saddam Hussein's palace, known as the Republican Palace, was built exactly on this position.
Oh, really?
Saddam Hussein is believed to have killed roughly 1 million people through war, weapons of mass destruction, and acts of terrorism, and people were tortured in his Republican palace. 33rd parallel. Abu Ghraib prison. The notorious Iraqi prison opened in the 1950s and used consistently for the imprisonment, torture, and execution of inmates, both male and female, and used heavily during the reign of Saddam Hussein. After Hussein was ousted, the United States took over Abu Ghraib and converted it into a black site to house common criminals, individuals suspected of being insurgent leaders, and those who committed crimes against the occupying U.S. forces. In 2003, Amnesty International made a report about abuses happening at Abu Ghraib. Then, in 2004, a 60 Minutes news report aired on ABC News, dropping a bombshell report with photos showing members of the U.S. Army and the CIA consistently committing grievous human rights violations in the forms of brutal rapes, humiliation, torture, and murder of detainees, some which weren't even guilty of anything.
Yeah, that's the whole Zero Dark 30 thing, right?
Yeah. The pictures of U.S. Army members giving the thumbs up and smiling while standing next to, sitting on, or participating in the torture and rape of prisoners went viral. Mm-hmm. And the rest is unfortunate history. Abu Ghraib sits on the 33rd parallel. 33rd parallel runs through Iran and Afghanistan. And we know historically, to present day, how controversial, violent, and war-ravaged these countries are, and how the U.S. were constantly at war with them. All 33rd parallel. In ancient Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, some people believe that where the 33rd parallel acts as a junction for the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, that junction is where the biblical Garden of Eden once stood. The ruins of the ancient city of Babylon, also in modern-day Iraq, is on the 32nd and a half parallel, very close to the 33rd. In the book of Revelations, Babylon was the great whore, the mother of prostitutes and all abominations on earth, and the home of demons. Babylon also contained the Tower of Babel, what man built to reach God or become God, as well as the Temple of Marduk. The gates of Ishtar are also on this spot. Built by King Nebuchadnezzar II around 6th century BC, the gates of Ishtar were the 8th fortified gate in the city of Babylon, and the gates were an ancient wonder of the world. The gates are 38 feet tall, built of blue bricks, and depicting alternating rows of cows and bulls and dragons. Rows of bulls and dragons.
Is it still preserved?
It is.
Right.
It's still there. It used to be an ancient wonder of the world. The dragons represent Marduk, chief god of Babylon and god of thunderstorms.
And his son Marmaduke.
Not Marmaduke, Marduk.
Okay.
The bull, or the Auroch, the bull's ancient ancestor, represents the god Adad, ruler of destructive storms and beneficial rain. And the gates of Ishtar themselves were dedicated to the Babylon deity Ishtar, goddess of war and sexual love. 32nd and a half parallel.
Don't watch the movie Ishtar. It has nothing to do with that. Actually, it does.
You guys with me?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if we follow the 33rd parallel, we're going to leave Iraq. We're going to leave that part of the world. If we follow the 33rd parallel all the way over to China, we meet the fabled White Pyramid in Qinling Shan Mountains of China's Shanxi province. The White Pyramid is believed to be constructed at the same time as the pyramids of Giza, about 5,000 years ago, and measures a whopping 1,000 feet high and 1,500 feet at its base, actually the largest pyramid in the world. The structure was built supposedly after the old emperors, known as the Sons of Heaven, descended to Earth in their fiery metallic dragons and began to rule China. Metallic dragons, UFOs? I don't know.
I did the metallic things. I mean, were we... Because I don't know if we had, been able to use metal that way.
And back in that time, I don't think we could.
I don't think we did at all.
Looks like when they say like these, like the metal dragons, when you see a dragons like breathing fire, and they see these things, they can't describe it, and it's like fire's coming out. So.
Really, it
could be the exhaust port.
UFO coming, right? Exhaust port of UFO or something.
Propulsion device.
Now, the problem with the White Pyramid, it seems to disappear and reappear. Researchers and scientists have sworn they've seen the pyramid while flying above the Qinglingshan Mountains, but anyone has yet to actually find it.
Really? So, like, it's stuck in, like, so much, like, debris and cliff sides and rock slides or whatever that they can't get to it yet?
Can't get to it. No one's gotten to it. They can photograph it. Someone's photographed it from above, flying above the mountains, but no one has found it on
Why
the
are we doing an
ground.
episode about that fucking thing?
Isn't that crazy? I would jump out the plane.
I'll fucking yes.
Give me a parachute. Give me a parachute.
Give me Ethan Hunt to fly me there.
This is the story. This is the story.
Okay.
Now, also found in China's Shaanxi province are the famous terracotta warriors.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you don't know, the terracotta warriors are considered the most priceless archaeological discovery of modern times and are a collection of some 8,000 terracotta soldiers, chariots, cavalry horses, acrobats, strongmen, and musicians, all buried in the year 210 to 209 BC, along with China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, to protect him in the afterlife. Now, just as a side note, Qin Shi Huang became emperor at just 12 years old and is responsible for building the Great Wall of China. Anyway, for centuries, the warriors stood as obedient, silent guards at Qin Shi Huang's tomb until they were unearthed in 1974 by 7 local farmers digging a well. The location became an immediate tourist destination, and lots of people in the Chinese government made lots of money, except for the 7 men who made the discovery.
Of course.
Unfortunately, for them, there are whispers of a terracotta warrior curse.
Oh, they unearthed them, so they died?
Well, the discovery left the men broke, landless, desperate. Government came in, took the land away from them. One of the guys committed suicide. One died of the strange skin disease that caused him to rot away.
There's got to be a Chinese horror movie to find about this.
2 of the people who found the terracotta warriors died penniless.
How do you spell that?
At early ages. One lost his mother shortly after the discovery of the warriors.
Spell terracotta.
Terracotta. Today, the remaining farmers get paid the equivalent of pennies to sit in a souvenir shop and sign books for tourists, barely able to make a living. Terracotta warriors, good for tourism, bad for those who found it. But both the terracotta warriors and the fabled White Pyramid are at the 33rd parallel. Now, back in America, back here, on the 33rd parallel, we could find near countless geoglyph and petroglyph locations. The Blythe Intaglios, which sits 16 miles north of Blythe, California, a geoglyph location we will be discussing in an upcoming episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast, and the Ripley Complex, about 12 miles south of the Blythe Complex, are both at the 33rd parallel. At these ancient locations, we could find geoglyph images of humanoids, snakes, spiders, stars, circles, and even a Knights Templar-like Maltese cross. Near Gila Bend, Arizona, is Painted Rock Petroglyph Site, which has hundreds of petroglyphs, believed to have been made by the Housekeeping people. There's the Circle Stone Observatory outside of Arizona, high up in the Superstition Mountains, which experts believe was used for navigational code purposes and acted like an ancient training ground where people learned how to navigate by sky. The observatory even has the golden mean ratio, or pi, right, 1.618, worked into it.
Really?
All these ancient symbolic locations and more lie on or are very close to the 33rd parallel. In Alabama, on the 33rd parallel, you could find the Moundville site, built between the years 1000 and 1450 AD. Here, at this site, an ancient Mississippian culture built 26 earthen platform mounds and temples in a circular pattern that mirrors almost exactly what the Housekeeping people built in Arizona over 1,500 miles away. In Louisiana, at Poverty Point, we have Bird Mound, also built on the 33rd. Bird Mound is a giant geoglyph bird, only appreciated, researchers say, from about 1,000 feet in the air. Tests were done. And as I said, there are countless other mounds and sacred places along the 33rd parallel. These are just a few. The 33rd parallel forms the base of the isosceles triangle that is the Bermuda Triangle, or the Devil's Triangle, site of countless ship and airplane disappearances, UFO activity, and supposed time rifts and even alternate realities.
And Atlantis.
33rd parallel makes up part of that isosceles triangle. It's fucking crazy.
When you're talking about Atlantis, too, so I was kind of saying before, they actually have maps of the old world before they even discovered the Americas. And they're like, wait, Australia, Antarctica, Atlantis, like and they were identical to what they actually the little continents to actually what they were.
How could they see? How could they know?
Crazy.
They had to be from up in the sky.
Wait, what are you saying they knew?
Up in the sky.
Wait, repeat that. What are you saying they knew?
So basically, the sailors had maps, okay, of the continents, but a visual from up above where they could actually see the continents. How and the continents were actually drawn to scale. I mean, identically.
What do you mean? They follow the coast. They map that shit.
But this is before they found these landmasses. This is supposedly before they even found these landmasses.
And to scale?
Well, remember, guys.
That's crazy.
Remember, when we called discovery, people were these lands were
totally.
discovered way before. We called it discovery. Like that dude, what's his name? With the Santa Maria and all that.
Columbus?
That guy.
Columbus.
I hate that guy. He's a piece of shit. But that guy.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry. A
Yeah,
lot of
but
murder.
you know what? He was one of the first.
No, he was the
guys
first
that actually documented
in the
it.
first doc. Right, he just documented the first. Doesn't mean that we didn't discover this place.
Yeah, but
first.
did we
No,
even
I'm
have
talking
the...
about he was the first one to document a UFO. Like,
Oh no, I mean
coming
that.
to
I mean,
America.
I mean,
I heard
as
that.
far as
Like,
discovering this land,
All right, so
you know?
so this is fucked up. When they were coming over here, all of a sudden, all their shit, what the hell is that? Their compasses, I think it wouldn't face
Like their
north.
navigational equipment or
Yeah,
something?
none of it would face north, or it would just face north. It was like one or the other, and they're freaking out because nothing would work, and they're getting spooked out.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden they started seeing like lights coming out of the water, and they were almost so scared that they wanted to come back.
Oh, that's
It was-
crazy.
and that
Yeah,
was
fuck
around the
India.
Bermuda
I just
Triangle.
got to...
But Atlantis, that would have been in that area. And I remember seeing a map of like an old world from this. I think it might have been like, I don't know. Like, I'm throwing out a number, 1500s, 1400s, and they had that landmass, and it was right in that area. So who knows?
You guys know what the last documented civilization was before it was like submitted into the world, meaning the world discovered it? Because for a long time we had like 15 to 20 civilizations that knew nothing of each other.
like
They had their
Sumer,
own
like
world. To them,
Sumeria.
there was no
Right.
world outside their walls.
Right.
Like, right, think of it that way. It's this island outside of Australia, south of Australia, if I'm correct. I forget the name of it. And the reason that they were so separated into the last people to be discovered by our world when they started connecting with each other, finding out that, hey, there's another world over here, is because over time, hunter-gatherer situations or people, societies went over there to that island, but it was a part of Australia. And then the landmass connecting them got sunk in over water rising, and it became an island. And then once they grew and stayed there over generations, they forgot that Australia existed, and they thought that their world existed only on this island.
Wow. Could
So
you
to them, the
imagine?
entire world was that island. Until we discovered and told them, hey, it's a lot more out there. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that's crazy.
that was the last one, but obviously Atlantis, I mean, could have been sunk in, is my point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's where they say
crazy.
that's life started at Atlantis. But another thing is like Sumeria. And I was trying to look at my phone. I'm like, shit! I did not look to see if Sumeria, like on all that fit in the 33rd parallel. Because that, and I know I'm like, oh god, why didn't I? You know,
Google the world map.
because I try like so. And supposedly that I mean we'll get into it another time, but supposedly that boils down to like the angels and devils and demons, and it's crazy.
Well,
Okay.
I got a little bit of that in here too.
Okay.
With the third parallel. So I think you'll like it. You like this one, too. The 33rd parallel runs directly through Area 51 over in Nevada. Area 51, of course, a mecca for aliens, UFOs, and conspiracy. We actually visited Area 51 in Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast episodes 49 and 51.
And I'm sure we touched on it in every other show.
Listeners, check that out. Now, speaking of aliens and UFOs, the Battle of Los Angeles, which took place on February 25th, 1942, where massive unidentified flying objects were seen in the night skies over Los Angeles, California, and were actually fired upon by U.S. military, even photographed. And that event took place on 33rd parallel.
Looks like GPS coordinates is 32.5500.
So 33.
Whoa.
No shit.
And then 44.6500.
And right away, I'm like, shit,
wow.
dude, because and that's supposedly where life started, and that's the first records of that civilization.
Where was that? It was Africa where we started, right?
No. The Middle East.
No, I mean they're both all the same, but it was
good. Yes, Samaria, 33rd parallel. Right, it's another one for the 33rd.
Shit! I didn't look. But that's crazy.
Well, what about 33rd parallel runs right through Roswell, New Mexico, site of 1947.
Lights, man. I don't know. Okay,
site of the infamous 1947 Roswell UFO incident. Joe, it's like you read my notes. Here's another one.
Well, stop reading his notes.
This is good. There's just so much to this. Yeah. On the evening of March 13th, 1997, for 106 minutes, witnesses saw a massive V-shaped aircraft with 5 or 6 large lights on its leading edge, silently traveling over the skies of Arizona, predominantly over Phoenix. This incident became known as the Phoenix Light UFO incident. The 33rd parallel runs right through Phoenix, Arizona. Now let's see if you've heard this one. Keeping with the UFO theme, there's something called Point Dume. Doom, that's spelled D-U-M-E, but pronounced Doom, on the coast of Malibu, California. This area of coastline boasts incredible amounts of UFO and USO activity, unidentified submerged object, going back decades. But what was found underwater, 6.6 miles off the coast of Point Dume, is what ufologists are calling the UFO-USO Holy Grail. What researchers found in approximately 2,296 feet of water is a structure commonly known as Sycamore Knoll that is 1.35 miles by 2.45 miles wide, with what appears to be an entrance that is 2,745 feet wide, which is supported by pillars that stretch 600 feet high. It's said that the entrance is wide enough to welcome a nuclear submarine. This structure, it also has what's described as a, quote, nuclear bomb-proof ceiling, end quote. That's about 500 feet thick. Now, UFOs and USOs have been seen leaving and entering the water in this area for decades, like 40 years. They've even been photographed. Residents who live in the area, they just grab lawn chairs and sit at the coastline and watch these UFOs and USOs fly in and out of the water.
Don't hurt yourself.
Now, I've looked at this thing on Google Earth, and I'll leave a link to the underwater base in the show notes. Oh, yeah, but don't play it,
No, I'm not putting the volume on.
I'll leave a link to the underwater base in the show notes where you could clearly see perfectly flat top and the entrance.
Yeah, you see the pillars. Yeah, you see the pillars there. It looks like an amphitheater.
Yeah, kind of.
Right?
So I'll leave the link, or you can find it yourself. Listeners, just go to Google Earth, type in Point Dume, that's D-U-M-E, then enter 3D mode, and you'll see it just off the coastline. Again, it has that perfectly flat top. You can't miss it. And since you're in 3D mode, you could turn the image and see the entrance and see the pillars. It's crazy. Now, what some people are saying is that the structure is a throughway in and out of military facilities, like the Naval Air Weapons Station China Lake, or NAWS for short, which is not too far away in the Mojave Desert. Maybe Area 51 in Nevada, or the Naval Undersea Warfare Center in Hawthorne, Nevada. Could this thing, this whatever it is, be a way of getting large submersible vehicles, either terrestrial, man-made, or extraterrestrial, or people, again, terrestrial or extraterrestrial, in and out of landlocked military facilities while keeping action out of the public's eyes. Now, of course, there are naysayers, people who say it's just a natural land formation, nothing to see here. But the UFO-USO activity in this area is well documented for the last 40 years or so. Whatever it is, it's just off the 33rd parallel, as is the well-documented UFO-USO activity, just off the 33rd parallel.
Can I ask you? Oh, let me know when you're done with this.
Yeah, no, good. Go.
In relation to another topic we did once, is Malaysia that part? Do you know what I'm talking about? That one area? Is that on the 33rd parallel? I don't even know the name of it.
I didn't think to look it up.
I didn't even know what the name of it is.
Tekkengong.
You remember that?
Yeah.
You fucking weirdo.
Tekkengong.
Fucking nerd.
That's where the geopin landed.
Hold on.
In Tekkengong.
Yeah, I remember
in the Ek province. ACH province. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
No, not Siri.
You're blowing my mind.
Oh, Siri just picked up.
Wow. Hey, Siri. Hey, NSA, stop recording me. Oh, spell the Tekkengong.
Oh, fuck.
Oh. Is that the limits of your power?
Google will figure it out.
All right. Yeah.
So while you're looking that up.
Oh, Tekken 7. It says the new game is coming out.
Tekkengong. Yeah, and then the Strait of Malacca. You could look that up too, because that was involved in the Malaysia Airlines flight, Strait of Malacca.
Dude, I'm misspelling it completely. It's giving me
Well, while
crappy.
you're doing that, we're not going to waste podcast time.
Well, no, because then I'm thinking. All right, so I'm trying to see if San Diego was on the 33rd parallel, because I'm like, son of a bitch, that's the fucking Navy right there. You know?
Is it?
I don't know. I mean,
You can just type into Google, what are the GPS coordinates of San Diego? It'll pull it up. So while you guys are looking up your two things, that's some UFO stuff about parallel 33. Okay.
Are you mentioning anything about the water anymore?
I'm trying to remember. I got
the act problem.
10 pages of notes.
Crazy weird shit like that I found. Like, oh,
No, that's great. Well, if yeah, I don't think I talk about water anymore. So that was UFOs. So we've mentioned Arizona a few times already. And in Arizona, of course, Joe, what's in Arizona? Town in Arizona, known for freaky shit. You want to go here?
Oh my God! Wait, a town in Arizona. Oh man, dude, Sedona.
Sedona, Arizona, which is known as a mystical location, full of wandering energies and vortices. Actually, Sedona's on the 34th parallel, but that's just 1 degree from the 33rd, so it's still counted among 33rd parallel researchers. Sedona, Arizona. Energies, vortices, paranormal.
Vortexes, I mean, just trees that grow in spirals.
Yeah, crazy stuff in Sedona. Now, Phoenix was once the center of... was once the center of ancient Hohokam culture, mainly in a town called Snaketown, about 5 miles from the 33rd parallel. The Hohokam were an advanced culture and built one of the world's largest irrigation systems. The ruins of the Hohokam Astrological Observatory, also called Casa Grande, are here as well. And here's another ancient culture understanding astrology. Where did they get this knowledge from? The Grand Lodge. Did you guys find it?
No, he's telling me something else. I don't know.
Okay. Still talking about Arizona here. The Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons in Phoenix, Arizona, sits exactly on the 33rd parallel. Actually, most, if not all, significant Masonic structures and buildings sit on the 33rd parallel. Another example is the first Supreme Council of Scottish Rite Freemasonry, which was established in Charleston, South Carolina. Its headquarters sits on the 33rd parallel. And this lodge goes all the way back to 1734. Now, you guys ready for this one? This one's nuts.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
The first atomic bomb was detonated in 1945 on the 33rd parallel in Alamogordo, New Mexico. A terrifyingly successful end to the Manhattan Project, this test was. The atomic bomb was then dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 33rd parallel runs through Nagasaki and Hiroshima is just north on the 34th parallel. So get this and try to follow. The 33rd parallel bisects two locations where unimaginable devastation took place, caused by something created and tested on the 33rd parallel, under the direction of the 33rd President of the United States, Harry Truman, who was a 33rd degree Mason that took over after Franklin Delano Roosevelt died at his home in Warm Springs, Georgia, located very near the 33rd parallel, 32.8 to be exact. It's so weird.
That's weird.
How you guys doing any research there?
I can't find the name of this fucking thing. I got the egg provenance.
Tekengong.
I can't fucking pronounce it. That doesn't.
Tekengong. I don't know.
That's why I did
Tekengong.
that. Yeah.
Should I continue? Do you guys want to go to break and look this up? What do you want to do?
No, you good.
Okay.
I can't find the coordinates of San Diego.
Just you can't type into Google GPS coordinates of San Diego.
Do you guys think that like a lot of artists think this too, that real evil first came onto our world and stayed there when the nuclear explosion happened and when we discovered and used it?
Certainly a lot of people say that's when aliens took notice.
Right. Well,
if they weren't here already.
If you look at it clinically, right, and if we've been observed, that'd be one, right? That one instance where we can do the devastating things, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then next would be like space travel, right? Things like that. Certain technologies have to be met, right? In order for them to say, okay, they're ready to contact, right? Or whatever. They're ready to check us out or whatever. On that hand, yeah. But I think of like a lot of the wholesome, no, I'll say wholesome. Bad way to start this. But like a lot of people feel that humanity's got lost, or humanity's good nature, or maybe humanity's innocence got destroyed when they did that testing thing over in, where was it again?
Alamogordo. It was tested in Alamogordo.
Yeah. And
32 degrees.
That was the start
parallel.
of that.
Joe.
Of that evil. You see it a lot in movies and stuff, but you see it a lot in literature as well, old-time literature too. And a lot of people cite that as like one of the main staples of humanity's loss of innocence.
Wow. Yeah, I believe it. Huh. San Diego, 32.7. So rounded up, it's 30. It's 33.
Crazy. Just like
that would be
bombs.
That would be counted in 33rd parallel research.
Yep.
32.7 for sure.
Dude,
wow.
I know it's so weird. Well, because all right,
good call.
So, I mean, after like researching all this, dude, like what I found it too. All right, so in Japan they have the underground or the underwater pyramids, okay, that they discovered. Like this is a for sure thing.
Yeah.
Like that's in the 33rd parallel.
Is it really?
Yeah. And with the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
They have the glass pyramids underneath. I don't know. It's a very.
I've heard this. Okay. Yes.
But all right,
where the top of the pyramid's open and it creates this rush of water into the pyramid, which sucks down.
I didn't even
sucks down boats. Yeah.
But it's a supposed glass pyramid that people saw that it's here and then there. But that's very controversial because there's no like photos of it and stuff. This is what explorers found. But for sure, 100%, Japan, they have the pyramids under there. It's from the old. Like, they think it's like pre-flood, pre-biblical flood, and all that stuff. So, and what was cool once you started talking about like the water, like that base and all. Dude, like, you know how much shit is underneath the ocean?
Oh, God.
In the old world?
Man.
And now with MapQuest and everything, it's...
MapQuest? Google Maps.
Well, I'm sorry.
Google Earth. You're like 1998. Yeah. That was 99.
Did he say MapQuest?
Hold on, let me check my pager.
Oh, wow.
Oscar, stop playing Snake on your phone.
I'm not playing Snake. What's Snake?
Exactly.
So old.
It was a joke.
No,
it was a joke.
All right.
I get it.
I loved Paperboy. Rampage. Yeah. But no, you're right. There's so much that we have no idea underneath the ocean.
Like, what I am thinking, it's like that's it. Like, okay, let's just say that's like Sumeria, like that's where we know like life started, or let's say, but supposedly life started on that 33rd parallel. Okay, that's the first road that was ever made, for travel. Like it's like that one direct line, and going back to like what we do with the ghosts and like something like you told me, like these used to be Indian trails, like Grand Avenue, like Indy Trail, or like Milwaukee, like in Chicago,
Archer Avenue.
And those are some of the most haunted streets.
100%.
So let's just say that these are the oldest roads. Let's just call them roads. Okay. Imagine all like that history and energy that's been put in there, and maybe that's what's causing all this crazy stuff to happen, because it's the oldest history like that's been put on that one spot. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. It makes perfect sense.
Makes a few dollars too.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, and fortunately, it goes on. Mm-hmm. Like in Dallas, Texas, we got Dealey Plaza and the Texas School Book Depository. Site, of course, of the Kennedy assassination on November 22nd, 1963. Happened on the 33rd parallel. Mm-hmm. And if you take the month of the assassination, November, the 11th month, and the day Kennedy was shot, 22nd, 11 and 22 is 33.
Yeah.
Right? Now, amazingly...
My sister got married on 11/11/11.
She's part of the 33rd conspiracy. Oh. Now, amazingly... John Kennedy's brother, Robert Kennedy, was also killed on the 33rd parallel at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. Nearly all U.S. states that the 33rd parallel crosses or straddles allows the death penalty. Huh. California and Arizona, death penalty by lethal injection or gas. Texas, Georgia, Mississippi, and Louisiana, death by lethal injection. Arkansas, Alabama, and South Carolina, death by lethal injection or electrocution. The only exception is New Mexico, which abolished the death penalty by lethal injection in 2009. So it still fits with the 33rd parallel theme, sort of. But current New Mexico Governor Susana Martinez, a Republican, is fighting to restore the death penalty. So the question is, will the mystery of the 33rd parallel win, or will the death penalty in New Mexico remain abolished?
It's weird.
We got to wait and see. Disneyland over in California on the 33rd parallel. Actually, the famous carousel at Disneyland was built on the spot where two powerful ley lines are said to cross, one of which runs along the 33rd parallel.
What's the other one?
Disneyland even had... Oh, I don't know the name of the other one. I didn't look it up. Disneyland even has its own ultra-exclusive club called Club 33. Look it up. Supposedly a 10-year waiting list and like $100,000 entry fee to be part of this Club 33 at Disneyland. It's crazy. I love this one. Oh, okay. Ready? The Georgia Guidestones. You guys heard of this?
Yeah.
Nope.
Dude, it's crazy.
So, now, the Georgia Guidestones sit at the 34th, but it's still worth mentioning for their controversy and conspiratorial nature. So I called this episode the 33rd Parallel Mystery, right? What I'm really encompassing is like 22.5 to about 34, that range where all this weird stuff. Majority on 33, some just off, a degree off.
Yeah.
So, the Georgia Guidestones, Oscar, in case you haven't heard of it, they're located on a hill in northern Georgia, about 90 miles east of Atlanta, and are composed of 5 polished slabs of granite measuring 16 feet tall, 16 and a half feet wide, and are 1.5 feet thick, with 4 of the stones weighing 20 tons each. Now,
by the way, 16, what is it, 16 by 16 what?
16 tall, 16 and a half wide, 1.5 thick.
That's 33.
What?
16 by 16 is 32.5. Like plus each other.
32.
Right.
That would be 34, wouldn't it?
Oh, I didn't count the 1, but I'm saying 16.
Oh, that would be 34 on the 34th parallel.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, anyway.
I didn't see that. Now, there are 8 different languages engraved into the megaliths, what some people call America's Stonehenge. And those languages are English, Spanish, Russian, Chinese, Hebrew, Arabic, Swahili, and Hindi.
Okay.
Now, the capstone to the monument weighs about 25,000 pounds and is engraved with writings in Babylonian cuneiform, Egyptian hieroglyphs, Sanskrit, and classic Greek. No one knows who commissioned the Georgia Guidestones. Only a mysterious person named R.C. Christian, who said he represented a, quote, small group of loyal Americans, end quote, hired a local granite company to construct the Guidestones. Now, here's where the controversy and conspiracy comes in. Etched into the stones are 10 edicts, or rules. Some say it's the plan for a new world order. Others say they are the 10 commandments of the Antichrist. Others praise the writings as the only way to carry on as a human race or to rebuild after total destruction.
Maybe that's why I was thinking. Maybe that's why they moved it a little off.
Why?
Not directly on the 33rd. If something were to happen, it's like it's moved off a little. It's close enough, but it's not on. If there was a total destruction, it's like maybe it's off a little bit, so it's not going to get destroyed. Dude, all right. This is I don't know. Like it's so like the UN, dude. That's another thing that's on the 33rd parallel too.
Is it?
Headquarters?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Which is kind of really weird. Like, I mean, just kind of like thinking about that. Like, I don't know.
Well, the United Nations flag is broken into 33 pieces.
Oh shit!
I mentioned that at the top of the show.
Yeah, if you listen, bitch. Sorry. Kidding.
Well, do you guys want to hear the edicts, the rules?
Yes.
The Antichrist or the New World Order
Well,
rules?
I thought it was basically just like a guideline. It's almost like the 10 Commandments.
It is. It's like the 10 Commandments of the Antichrist, some people say.
Let's
All right.
listen to this.
So, the first one. Now, this one really fucks with people. This is what people really trip out about. Number 1, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
That does not sound good.
I agree with that.
No, but it's like it's that perfect balance. People.
If it wasn't for farmland, sorry.
I could see it. I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I mean, but
Yeah, what if you're not one of the 500 million?
Oh, I won't be.
Right? So that really gets people going. Number 2, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity.
I also agree with that.
Here we're getting into like eugenics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is why people get upset. Number 3, unite humanity with a new living language. Language, single language.
Yeah,
this is a New World Order talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that makes
Number
sense.
4.
That's Star Trek, by the way.
Number 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason.
Okay, again, awesome.
Tempered reason could be construed as harsh reasoning. Tempered, harsh.
Well, we love making things more complicated than they are.
Well, that's the word.
Yeah.
That's what it means. Number 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Okay. Number 6, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in world courts.
Kind of like the difference between state, like a state government versus federal
pretty
government.
Much like the whole like.
I don't know if that's what it could be.
Isn't it?
That's what it feels like to me. State versus federal, if you want to compare it to something.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, isn't that pretty much like
that's the thing?
UN
It's
wants to
kind
do?
of vague, right? Number 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. Okay, I could go with the useless official things. Number 8, balance personal rights with social duties. Balance personal rights with social duties.
You gotta read that book I was telling you about.
Sacrifice yourself for. I'm thinking 1984 here.
Social rights.
Work for the government.
I don't
provide.
think it's... See, again, you're reading the opposite thing that I'm reading.
Well,
completely. Anyway.
Number 9, prioritize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. I like that.
Yeah.
And number 10, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature.
Yeah, the first and the second say
twice.
the same thing.
Said twice.
The first and the second one mean the same thing.
Right, yep.
It's like me and my one friend, Will, like we always talk about like humans almost being like a virus.
Oh, absolutely.
Virus.
You know?
Absolutely.
We are a virus.
All we do is just we just take and deplete the earth of everything and don't really give anything back.
We don't.
Just
No, we
deplete it.
don't. Yes. So those are the Georgia Guidestones on the 34th degree away.
That's what it's saying. That's crazy.
So let's get biblical. Let's get biblical. Biblical.
Never do that again.
We're gonna get biblical.
You're still doing it.
Caesarea Philippi in northern Israel, which sits at the foot of Mount Hermon and is 30 miles from the Sea of Galilee, a location of numerous ancient worshiping sites, and also happens to be the location where Jesus told his disciples for the very first time that he was in fact the Jewish Messiah, and the same place where Jesus predicted his own death. Didn't you mention that earlier, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Caesarea Philippi is very near the 33rd parallel. It's like 33 and a half. Keeping it biblical, Mount Hermon is on the 33rd parallel, just a short distance north of Caesarea Philippi. This is a location where Christians believe Jesus' transfiguration took place, where he became brilliantly radiant with glory and spoke with prophets Moses and Elijah. Got to be careful.
Muhammad
And spoke with prophets Moses and Elijah, all in front of his closest disciples, Peter, James, and John. It's also believed that during the Transfiguration, on this location, on the 33rd parallel, clouds enveloped the mountains, and the voice of God called out and said, "This is my Son, whom I love. Listen to him." Very powerful stuff if you're a Christian. Happened on the 33rd. Mount Hermon is also the location where, according to the book of Enoch, 200 angels fell to earth and changed humanity forever. These angels are sometimes referred to as the Watchers, and the Watchers' main goal was to corrupt the pure human race by mating with humans and creating a hybrid race. What are they called?
Homo sapiens.
The Nephilim.
Damn it.
Noah's flood was used to wipe out the Nephilim. These fallen angels were also supposedly the bearers of forbidden knowledge. Here's exactly what we've been talking about, Joe. Math, art, how to make weapons and things out of metal, astrology, writing, and a whole lot more. Some believe these weren't fallen angels at all, but aliens. Mount Hermon, 33rd parallel. And if you follow the 33rd parallel to the exact opposite side of the Earth, the exact opposite of Mount Hermon, you run into Roswell, New Mexico, another alien significant location.
Really?
Weird. It's
That's
weird.
That is really weird.
So I don't know. It's the 33rd parallel. It's a powerful line of energy across the globe. Is it a ley line?
Can you, if you, let's say you're an alien UFO and you discover Earth, like, ooh, new ball there. Looks like they have water.
Blue. It's pretty.
Blue looks nice. Okay, if I can see it with us in our own sci-fi or maybe even real science, of mapping and charting something digitally with devices, instruments, measurements, operations, right? Would you say that this is a mathematical certainty that anyone could see the world in these latitudes, longitudes? Like, that isn't humans.
No, because these are invisible lines. These lines...
They're not real lines. Once I can see them, can you... what I'm trying to say is that will anyone outside with intelligence map our world the same way? Because it makes the most sense to do it.
I don't understand the question, I guess. I'm sorry.
I guess I'm trying to say, like, how does aliens know its importance of this 33rd parallel?
Unless it's some energetic thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're invisible lines,
right? They're all this is invisible.
But this is all mathematically correct things. This is all mathematically truisms. So the way that's measured, it's perfectly aligned.
Right.
Everything's perfectly in its place by these measurements that we create. These lines that are imaginary.
Minutes, seconds.
This is something that all right. They say that now because not MapQuest, but Google Earth, there's actually lines carved in to the bottom of the ocean. And those are the reference points for it's just crazy.
Whoa.
So this is not, but this is like a true thing. Like,
no, tell me. I want to hear about this. 'Cause I don't know about this.
If the aerial view, like on Google Earth, look into it. But there's actually like lines carved into the ocean as a grid system that that you could tell from up above that match up. So it's like you can't see it like on the line, but you could see it super deep in, that it's actually carved in there. Like check it out. It's
Holy shit.
crazy.
I don't know.
So that, you know what I'm saying? So like the grid, the lines are hidden underneath the water. Like where we would have no clue. I mean, there's going to be so much stuff like later on that we're going to find out about.
Right.
But
should we ask James Cameron? He's been down there.
It's so weird, man.
Fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, someone on your phone GPS where the Titanic sits. I'd be curious.
Oh, where it sunk?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Like put into Google GPS coordinates of Titanic.
I don't think that's a worthy.
I couldn't even find where San Diego was.
It's true. But that was the thing as I was doing research for this, and I had to cut it off. That's where I stopped because there was just boatloads more of examples of crazy shit that goes on in the 33rd parallel.
Oh, dude.
But here's my thing: is that how does it measure to other parallel lines? That was my first question when you started talking.
And I think I answered that in the beginning, where more so than any other latitude or longitude line.
Did you say that? I must have missed that part.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Stuff happens here within 32
more
and a
than,
half to
than
34,
the others? Really?
Predominantly on the 33rd. Yep.
Now,
absolutely.
If you take the law averages, right, the odds against that, I mean, it's definitely going to be one line's going to have more than the rest, for sure. But you're saying astronomically more, right? You're saying a lot more than the rest of the lines.
A lot more than the rest, absolutely. And these events, they're not little blips on the radar. They're huge history-changing
How interesting
things.
would it be that it's maybe it's not the fact that this line is cursed or special, but we've created it and made it cursed. We made it cursed and special by putting meaning into.
So yeah, that's like a thought form,
right,
or a tulpa,
right. Don't think about elephants.
Bringing something into reality,
right,
by sheer strength of will.
Yeah,
intention.
Like Slenderman, for example.
That's a good one.
Whenever you do anything with intention,
good point.
I mean, it could
it's
be
a great
one of
point,
those.
Oscar.
Like we psych ourselves out. You know what I'm saying? Saying it could be that too, which doesn't diminish the things you're saying.
No,
right.
not at all.
But yeah,
I was thinking so many like weird angles and stuff.
You were really into this.
Oh yeah, dude, the Civil War, like the first battle of the Civil War was on the 33rd parallel too.
And so the Titanic, RMS Titanic, latitude 41.
Oh.
So not 33. Just curious.
What did I say? When you were mentioning earlier, when you talked about all the facts about the 33rd parallel, is that it kind of feels like a trench war thing. Like that's the line between the no man's land and the battlefield kind of thing. Like in a bigger worldwide scale, like the DMZ. Yeah, kind of like that. Maybe kind of reminded me of like or maybe like a symbolic like line drawn in the sand kind of thing. When he was talking about battlefields and Civil War, I was thinking that. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's interesting. It was fun. It was really fun to research because I would like think of something like, oh, I wonder where this happened, and I would type it in. Oh, fuck, 33rd parallel.
Dude,
you know,
so much stuff.
And some things weren't on the 33rd. I was wrong. Like Titanic, for example.
Did you have another one that was wrong?
Joel pulled it up, and it's Sumeria, 33rd or
That's
30.
So weird.
What was it? 32.7 or something like that,
like
right? So rounded up, you're 33rd parallel.
Like
that would be included in the research.
It's just weird.
9/11 was it? Ground Zero was the other one I was looking at to see if that was one that was wrong. Yeah, it wasn't. They also don't have a lethal injection there. Right? What's that? Do they have the where they execute people? Death penalty. Death penalty. Do they have that? I don't know if New York has a death penalty. I don't think they do. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna get an angry email from a listener. Yeah, they do, dummy. I don't know. I don't think they do. I'm getting executed next week. Yeah, I know they do. Right. But fun stuff. That was good. Right.
I want to look up the Sumerian stuff now.
Yeah.
Because I did like a couple months ago, and I'm scattered with it.
Well, put together an episode on Sumeria. Oh my god, I yawned into the mic. I'm sorry. It's late. Too late. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. All right, yeah, that was fun. I don't know where it doesn't say anything because as a picture, you think of it as a whole, and it seems like I think I'm more thinking that it's something that we've given it power. Okay, like history, mankind as a history has given this power. Probably since the significance of the 33rd or the number 3 itself, like probably from there.
You know, you probably be tough to find real big issues too much before. You know, probably. I mean, not that history was documented that much before, so we don't know. Like, did the comet hit at the Gulf of Mexico on the 33rd parallel? Did anyone check that? You know, dinosaurs got killed.
Was it on the 33rd parallel?
I'm asking. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
I wouldn't know how to phrase that question.
The
to
Gulf
Google.
of Mexico, right? That's why the Gulf exists, isn't that right? The comet hit that spot.
I don't think so.
Are you sure? Did I get that wrong?
Like,
No, I'm
I don't know
not.
if
I'm
this
not 100%
makes sense.
sure,
Isn't that
but
where the comet supposedly hit?
I don't know. I never thought of it. I don't know.
Okay.
Never researched it.
Anyway, that's prehistoric times. But yeah. Anyway.
Oh, no. That's way south.
That's
You're
way
talking
south?
about by like Cancun and all that, right? Just like above.
No, I'm talking
the
about
big meteorite that destroyed the dinosaurs.
right. Supposedly, or one of them,
No.
or
it's
one of them that
definitely
did it. Okay. All right. Okay. Just curious.
Okay, so look in this perspective. Just okay. There's a bunch of different energies, different types of energies out there, right? Think about these different energies as liquid. Okay, different types of liquid. Okay, like vinegar, oil, water. Take the Earth, put it in cylinder form. Okay, and put all the different energies in there, but just whatever, they're water. And then some are going to be float and some are going to
I can picture that, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know, maybe, like, that 33rd, maybe all the energies just kind of match up in that spot to create some, I don't know, it's weird. Like,
that's an interesting way to think about it.
And then even thinking about, like, Tesla with, like, free-flowing energy and just kind of, like, maybe there's something with all the energies that, because I mean the Earth, I know for
some reason they coalesce in that area.
Yeah,
yeah,
weird, right?
It is. It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's very strange. As I said, it was a great one to research.
Yeah, that was hella fun. I like that one.
It seemed like was it too short? I feel like it was too short.
90 minutes.
What again?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't shut up.
I guess not.
Yeah. No, that's good.
I had like 10 pages of research on this.
Yeah, 90 minutes. That's about right.
A lot goes into these shows.
Bet you it took you longer than 90 minutes to compile.
Oh my God.
30.
Yeah, it's late. Well, listeners, Merry Christmas.
Oh, right.
Here's for another good year.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
No.
Here's for another good year on the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast. Hit us up on social media. Check us out on YouTube and hook us up on Patreon.
Yeah. Minus the Patreon one.
No, you could give the Patreon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can go there
for
too.
Christmas.
Okay, right. Well, yeah, that'll be our stocking.
Oscar, take us home.
All right.
You inject it into my
Oh my God, no. No.
Into your what?
Be the first
adrenaline,
podcast where
adrenaline.
someone dies on the air. No, thank you.
Jake.
Um,
I'll sign a waiver.
we might be the
I don't trust Oscar, dude. He's gonna hurt me.
I'll hurt the fuck out of you. I'm sorry.
That smells like cum.
Oh,
I bet you know
Hi.
that.
hello.
No, I bet you know that.
Hi.
Bet you do.
Joe goes, I heard the first morning pee is rejuvenating, and Oscar said, we're not ending on that note.
No, he's like, we're not ending on that. Let's keep on.
No.
That was hilarious. This
Why-
is good. This
Why
is
would
good,
that ever
guys.
happen?
This is
Why
good.
would I let that happen?
I love this. All right. You guys ready?
Is the lights
let's
turned down
count
low?
from 33.
Oh.
Are the lights turned down low?
They will be.
No, will they?
Okay.
Where's the candle, huh?
I swear to God,
You fucking liar.
I thought about bringing a candle, because we always, whenever we record, I have a
With the
candle.
sex candles?
Yeah, it's
What
a
the fuck?
candle. The lights are low.
Why is everything sexual?
No, it's not. It's just this time.
No,
You know,
every time I see you,
I
yes.
went to some place out in New York, and I'm like, it has a weird smell, and I'm
Sorry,
like,
I don't know why that was
smells
funny to
like fucking like blood and sex in here. And,
Blood and
then
sex.
and then Annetta's like, shut up, you know, like whatever, you're allowed. And the lady that worked there, she starts laughing. She's like, well, actually, it's blood and semen. Like, yeah, like if that's what like they were going for with that candle, like blood and semen.
What?
Yes, I swear.
What? That's what the label had a label that said that.
Well, that's what she said. Like that, and like that's like what it was kind of. Yeah,
up.
I don't think it was real blood. And semen,
no, but that was a candle. That,
yeah, and she's like, I can't believe you said
Come
that.
on.
That's crazy. And I'm like, well, I mean,
I'll take two.
Yeah. I mean, not that I know. I mean,
holy shit!
Yeah, it was so weird, man. And like even like urines.
That sounds like a
going
Cannibal
back to
Corpse
urine,
title song.
But
yeah,
I think like a lot of fragrances use like urine. Or it's like a
pheromones or something.
yeah, something like that.
I don't know. Let's milk something and make a candle. What?
Well,
Haven't you ever seen Haven't you
I have
seen
nipples, Jack.
Haven't you seen Portrait of a Serial Killer?
Henry?
No, not Henry. Sorry. Perfume.
No.
The movie Perfume.
No, I heard of it though. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the guy takes the scent of like beautiful women, innocent young women, like like late teens, and like boils them down to make the most perfect orgasmic perfume.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Is it like Sex Panther
dude, it's insane.
Oh yeah, that's
from
awesome.
Anchorman?
I never seen that.
They open the box, a little head
So
pops
Oscar,
up.
is it true that you can milk anything with nipples?
I can, yes. You don't want to know how.
Well, I got nipples, Jack. Did you milk me?
Yeah. That's that Robert De Niro movie, right?
Yes. All right. Ready?
I'm ready.